ways to kind of help them move
Well,
around
she
while
could
they're
use some
sleeping.
ideas because I don't think she has a whole lot of experience with kids in general.
Well, we'll start with us, and then as things go
She's a
along,
nice lady.
then we can see who we can pull in from the outside to get some extra supports and things.
Okay.
And
And my husband would have been here today, but he had to work late, so he would like to be
awesome.
here next time.
Awesome. So when we're setting up that next meeting time, then we'll make sure that we find a time that'll work for him. And if we need to do it a little bit later, we can do that. Because
Okay, great.
yeah, I think if we're all sharing our ideas together, it'll really help out.
And it's not going to be in a way that would make Kevin feel bad about himself.
Absolutely not. And we'll talk about that when we're doing it. The little supports that we want to add in, we want them to be what we call invisible supports. So they're there, but he doesn't know, and the other kids don't really know. And so it'll seem kind of seamless. And there's a couple little tricks that we have. And so I can share some of those little tricks that we have with you. So kids don't feel singled out.
Awesome. I like that.
All right, wonderful. Well, I really appreciate your time today. I just feel like I've learned so much more about Kevin.
Oh yeah,
But then I think we go to the next one.
I think there's one.
And so I can tell he really likes you as his teacher.
Well, and I really see that energy, and I see about that energy. There's this real passion for learning when he is diving into things that he's excited about, that there's so much potential to turn all that energy into, the passion about what we're learning about and really get him excited.
I love
So
that
that's really my ultimate
sentence.
goal. I'm really excited about
That
being
thought.
here with you.
You guys are really active kids. Really do seem to just be so smart.
They're passionate about
They
something.
really have
You skip kids.
they really do have a
And these are kind
a
of
certain
hours
spark.
when I'm here at the school, so if you ever want to just drop by, we can do that. And what I would like for you to do, if you can go home and talk with your husband and see if you guys can come up with the time, and then just give me a call and we'll get that next meeting set.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you coming. If anything else comes up, you have any more questions or anything, just give me a call or pop by, okay?
Okay,
All right,
thanks.
and I'll try to get back in touch in about a week about that meeting, okay?
Okay,
All right.
good evening.
Thanks, Cindy.
Not only did you say thanks, but you said thanks, Cindy.
You knew your name.
I know, but
That helps.
I don't always use people's names in those kinds of conversations. That was really amazing to me. I just thought that was so natural. So how do you feel now?
As I was looking at that, I was thinking again that one of the things that was hard for me was to be quiet and just listen, because I'm thinking of all these ideas. I'm thinking, oh, we could try this. Oh, we could try this. Oh, maybe I could do this. And he was saying, just like smile and listen. So that was hard for me. I think I did a good job of it.
You did do a good job of it, because I don't remember any
I really
time.
did have to.
Yeah, I don't remember any times that you interrupted. But just knowing that that was hard, would just still be something that you'd have to focus on every time.
Yeah, that I
Make
have
sure
to
you
hold
did.
back and make sure I'm letting them say what they want to say and not turn it into about the many ideas of Rachel, but what is it that the parents really saying.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I felt, and I think it'll work. I think it'll work for me, but I think if maybe this was being shared with another parent, that there might be, not another parent, another teacher, that there might need to be a couple little adaptions made, because I felt like I had to do quite a bit of thinking on my feet. It really wasn't just to kind of answer the questions, but I felt a lot of times like you said something to me and I thought, gosh, if she just shared that information with me, then I really feel like I have a responsibility to her as the parent, and trusting to say that to me, that I'm responding to that in some way and saying, I'm hearing you, and I want to take note of that. And some of those specific things were, well, you know, something that's a challenge for us is that he has a really lot of energy. And the second you said the word challenge, I thought, as a teacher, I need to, or as this person who's trying to create a relationship, I have to somehow address that she just said challenge. And I have to acknowledge that. And so I found that was kind of, I really felt I had to think on my feet a lot of how can I say, I'm hearing that challenge and I'm moving on to the next question, but I really did hear that.
Do you think it's
And we
okay?
can meet that again.
Yeah.
But I think that if I were just to like pass this on to, you know, I'm thinking in the last step of passing this on to Ed or passing this on to Emily, that I might need to, I guess that would be something I would really need to share with them. And, you know, maybe you just want to take, maybe not so many questions, maybe pare it down a little bit. So if something like that comes up, you can kind of immediately find some way to address that. Whether it be, let's make another meeting. It was really hard for me not to jump in with, well, let me tell you some of the things that we're doing at story time
Right.
to help him sit down a little longer
Right.
and slowly extend that. You know, it was really hard not to
Do you
immediately
think?
jump into.
Do you think if you thought of it a little bit like the parking lot? So when you take a note, let's say you took the note in that she said challenge, so that you remember that for another conversation, and maybe not address it at that time, because I felt like you addressed quite a few things in that amount of time, but still there would be more that you could address at a later time by taking those notes.
Definitely,
Does
it'd
that
be a
make
huge
sense
thing.
about the parking lot idea?
Definitely. So I guess my where I felt I had to keep being on my feet was that I wanted to make sure that you knew as a parent that I really know about that, and I really do want to work with you on addressing that, especially in the classroom. And man, if we can help make life easier out, that would be awesome. And I want you to know that that's on my parking lot. I want you to know that that's there, and that we're going to get back to that. And so that's where I really felt, once we got down to here, I was like, okay, I need to let you know we're going to get back to this, back at the end again of that.
You did say that.
Of that he needs to play, yeah. Because that was another time where I thought, you know, again,
So-
I'm asking her for, you know, what do you really hope and care for? And I need to make sure there's some way that I say, I've heard that, and we're gonna get back to
Do you want to
that.
add that to the rubric? Some kind of a comment at the end of it? And if so, if you
You know,
did
I
want to do
don't
it,
think
where
so,
would it
because
go?
I think it depends upon how they answer. It really depends upon the answer and where they're going. If you had left yours, their difficult part of your day, not really, you know, like for bath time, we have lots of games and toys that we do in the bath, and so not really.
Okay.
Then I wouldn't feel like I'd need to address that. But because you said, oh yeah, we do have this challenging part, then it's like, oh, now you told me that, I need to make sure that you know I heard that. So that was just something that I realized though. So I think that's something that I need to make sure, I feel like I'm pretty good at thinking on my feet. And it felt like I knew where to
sounded that
get into
way.
that. But it's definitely something that I need to keep in the back of my mind when I'm doing that next step of sharing this with Miss X, sharing this with Miss Emily, as that next step of sharing with one of my coworkers of how how do I make sure that they know that and help that work for them?
Would that be in maybe helping them understand a little bit more about taking notes? Like just the note taking during an interview? Like a key word, like in this situation it might be church that jogs your memory, you know, about, or
Well,
that
it's
I
really about
said
knowing
challenge.
what to say, though. It's really about knowing, like almost maybe a couple at the end of the section, if one of those things come up, some like little, you know, like they have those 100 ways to encourage a child, and they just have these, you know, a way to say it without saying, good job.
Right, right.
You know, what are other things you can say? And really needing some examples. Maybe having some written examples, because really the thing isn't about remembering that they said the church was hard, but hearing you say, yeah, church is really hard. Okay, great. So who do you turn to for support? Or, you know, hearing you say, boy, we really, you know, we have a challenge because he really has a lot of energy anytime we go into the airport, restaurants, a store. He's trying to climb all over everything. All right, okay, loves to climb. Okay, so what do you guys like to do as a family? You know, it just feels like, you know, I'm telling you this, but you're not doing anything with it. And even if I might at the end,
During your debrief, you have an opportunity to do that.
yeah,
And I felt like you did.
but I felt like what I needed to do, which I did. I felt like I did what I need to do, but I don't know that everybody can do that. Which is to say, wow, I'm hearing you say that he has a lot of this energy and this athleticism. So how are you using that as a family in your activities together? You know, it's like I was really having to think on my feet to try to say, wow, I'm hearing that. Let's get back to that. Who's supporting you with that? What can I do to help build these qualities in your child? What are you hoping that I could do in the classroom? All those kinds of things. I don't know that that everyone's going to be able to just think of that.
You know, as a parent, what I heard you say, and it was an additional thing that I thought was really brilliant, was let's set up a next time to address blah, 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 the things that I had said. And I thought, that is so awesome, because I did say those things and she's really paying attention and she wants to set up another appointment to talk about it more. So I'm wondering if even just that line, which isn't in your script, but even just that line in the debrief somewhere would help the teacher, any teacher.
Maybe.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's not something I want to write in though, because you don't know what people are going to say. You know, it came up in our situation, but I don't know if it's going to come up in another situation.
Okay.
But that's just something I was thinking about. Wow, I had to do a lot of thinking on my feet, and how easy or rough might that be for other people to really think on their feet like that. So I didn't realize I had to do quite a bit of that. Or I felt like I did, and it might have been okay if I didn't do that as much. It might have still been okay, but I personally felt a responsibility.
Right. I didn't feel overwhelmed about it. I did, there was one word you said that I did this because it had to do with, we have not experts, but we have specialists, or we have,
I'm trying to think, we have professionals who
something to do with
call us other
professionals. And
I was trying really hard not to use the word BOCES or anything
Right.
like that. And I said behavior, professional, I don't know if it was
I'd have to
behavioral
replay it, but
specialist or people who specialized in just,
it was something
working
like
on
specialist,
behaviors.
and I thought, oh, my son needs that. You know, I kind of felt that, just that little twinge of, oh, my son's gonna need that. You know what I mean? So maybe it might be good to just replay that part and just get that one. And not all parents would feel that way, but you know what I mean?
Definitely, and I think most parents do. I think most parents
Right.
do.
Just food for thought, I guess, on that. The other thing that you mentioned was the eye fluttering. And I just find that everybody's got something. You know, with me, it's the pursing of the lips. 'Cause I'm thinking
I
about
was just really surprised. I didn't feel like I was doing that.
and I didn't notice
wow,
it.
I am blinking like crazy.
So did you notice me when I was pursing
Oh,
that
never,
first time?
no.
See, and then I never noticed but we noticed it when we were watching ourselves.
Well, it was good that you didn't notice because I thought, man, that parent's going to be like, do you have something in your eye?
And again, I just have to say, what a good segue from the athleticism to the next question. It was perfect. And so what do you like to do as a family? So I had met on the first one. Did you have met on the first one?
Yes.
And the second one?
I do have met on the, no, a partial, because I didn't have the 4.
Okay, same as me.
Yes, and I had the 3, I had the other 3, but I didn't have the 4.
Do you have that on your script about the questions?
I do.
Okay,
I
you
do.
just missed it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
encircled it there.
Okay. And then on the interview, what did you have?
You know, the only thing I kind of put a question mark by, and I think I feel like for this it was met, but I'm not sure that I was really paying attention enough. I'm going to hope and assume that I was in tune enough to know if you really needed it, but I never did any kind of clarifying. I never asked you any kind of clarifying thing, but you just kept seeming to be rolling on.
Well, see, and
So I
that's
thought, well, you're
why.
kind of rolling and I'm kind of rolling, so I think that I don't feel like you really, really needed it, but I did have to kind of pause and think, was I really in tune enough to notice if she really needed it? And looking again, I didn't feel like you did.
I don't feel like I did.
I'm hoping,
And that's why I think it was intuitive of you
I'm hoping
to
that it was
change
intuitive.
this to as needed.
Mm-hmm.
You had that feeling that may not be needed. And so you changed that in the rubric to as needed with some examples. So do you feel like that worked for you?
I do.